What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we are fixing today the biggest flaw with the wr250f, and I can't speak to the previous years, but on 2025s they made the seat rounder, and it's advertised actually as one of the new upgraded features. To me, it's not an upgraded feature. It doesn't do anything for the bike, and it makes it very uncomfortable because it gives you a narrower spot when you're sitting, and the foam's hard as a rock to begin with. So it just, I mean, I am sore for the next day after riding this bike for several hours. So ordered the gut seat. I'm going to show you here. It comes with, as you know, on the Yamahas, it comes with the gas cap, which kind of blends in. Looks like it's one seat, and you take the gas cap off, cover off, and that's how you do your fuel. So we did it comes with the material to cover it, and it's kind of got some elastic around it, elastic material. Wrap it around real tight. I left the old cover on and then stapled over it. This way, for whatever reason, if it didn't work out or if it didn't adhere well, and if I messed up, I didn't have no cover on there, so I could have just took it off and still had the old cover underneath. But it works out perfect. It makes it a little bit more snug because you got double the material, but it goes in fine, as you'll see. One thing you're going to have to deal with these anytime you do any type of aftermarket seat cover is the little pin for the fuel cover. You'll see there's like an insert that goes through the plastic. That also goes through the stock seat cover. There's no way to get the new seat cover underneath there. It's just bonded into the plastic. So it's like epoxied in or pressed in. You can't get it out and then put it back into the, I'll show you. It goes all the way through to the other side, and it looks just like that on the other side of the stock seat cover. If you have one, you know what I'm talking about. So when you put the new seat cover on it, they put a little hole there so you can line it up, and this way too you know where it's trimmed out. So when you put it in, it's going to have to be conscious when you take it off and you're fueling up. You don't lose your pin. You know, maybe just take it out. If you don't make the hole too big, stretch it out too much in the seat cover, it actually holds it in kind of tight because it's a rubbery material and it's stretchy. So, all right, time out from the regular video. So as I was saying, the pin, you're gonna have to worry about it falling out. I was actually ended up kind of fiddled around with it a little bit. There's a little lock washer that's kind of hard. I didn't think I was going to be able to reuse it. It was kind of mangled when I took it off. But I was actually able to flatten it out and put it back on and reuse it. So we are good to go now. And you'll see too, I have the strap connected. So that's the little washer that hangs out under there. It's still a little mangled up, but it's staying on there nice. And I don't have to worry about this falling out anymore. So there you go. Probably get a new one of those too at the hardware store, quite honestly. So forget what I said about it falling out on you. Back to the video. Sticking it on there works out just nice. So I wanted to put this on here and leave the stock seats. Kind of show you the difference in the materials too. So we'll get this locked in. So you'll see it's a very similar material. The gripper seat cover though for the guts seat is a little more coarse, the texture you'll see. But it's pretty similar. It's just a little more subtle on the stock seat. But you'll see the stock seat, it's hard to tell because it's the same color, but it's very rounded. So like it comes up and in. And this is about where the top edge of the seat is. And then right there too. So you're only sitting on about 3 to 4 inches there in the middle. And I can tell you, if you don't got much meat on your rear end, it's not a pleasant feeling the next day after riding all day. So I know you stand a lot, and I do stand a lot too over the rough terrain, but there's plenty of times you're hollering down fire roads and stuff like that, and you're sitting, on rough fire roads and just going down and long distances at higher speed, and you're sitting down. So you want to be a little comfortable. I'm not using this bike for hard enduro and to be standing all the time. I'm using it for longer rides, and I want some comfort. So the seat I got with guts, you'll see side by side, I opted for, when you order it, you can order it the ribbed seat. So the seat with the ribs on it, so it'll be same material, but you'll see the ones that have the ribs in them. And you'll see them a lot on the KTM guys in the KTM factory. They're coming with them now, some of the higher end models. But you can order, and that seat's about $315, $320. This seat was $265 if you just order it without the ribs. And the reason is, if you order with, it's all one piece, one material. If you order the ribbed seat, not only do you have the ribs, but you can also custom make it where you can do a different color on the side, then you do the top and have the ribs a different color, so you can technically have 3 different colors on it. If you order the one piece without the ribs, you just pick obviously one color, which was fine with me. I just wanted the Yamaha blue, so I did that with, and you can opt to have the guts on the sides and the back, or one or the other, or both. I just was fine with both. I think it looks fine. Looks good. So you'll see that. So we'll get the other one on, and I'll show you. And I can tell you, I've already slipped it on there and tested it, like sitting down. The way I ordered it too, besides the seat cover, is I ordered the stock height foam. And I had originally said in some of my previous videos I wanted to order a lower seat. But a lot of times I read some people that order the low seats from Guts and Seat Concepts alike. And, you know, they want comfort too. And then when you order the lower seat, you're just getting less foam. So a lot of times what ends up happening is, even though you have a softer foam, you have less of it. So it ends up being not really as comfortable, even though it's wider and it's, you know, more spread out weight distribution. So what I did was, and I talked about this with a few people, and they brought up some good points, is the Guts soft foam is very soft. So when you sit on it, it's going to squish anyway. So you're going to gain a little bit more just sitting down on the bike and being on the bike, able to touch the ground to begin with, because you're going to sink into it more than you would the stock seat. So I did the stock height, but I opted for the wider width. So that makes it a nice flat square profile. It's very similar profile now to the KTM and Husky seats. Whereas before, it's very rounded. And when I'll get it off, you can see it side by side. But it's very rounded, the stock seat. So it's narrow up the middle, and you're not really distributing your weight evenly across the seat. Just that alone is a lot more comfortable, and I opted for the soft foam. So it's really, really soft and cush. If you put them side by side on the bench, the Guts seat is going to be, I don't know, an 1/8 inch taller or so, side by side. But when you sit on it, I can tell you, because I slipped it on prior to making the video and sat on it just to see how it felt. And it is significantly more comfortable, and you do squish into it quite a bit more. So I can, much more easily touch the ground. So that's going to be great. So let me get it on, and I'll show you. And if you guys aren't familiar with how to replace a seat on a Yamaha, it's very simple. You have 2 bolts, one on each side, and that's it. You take those 2 bolts out, and the seat will slip right off. I'll show you. So slide it back and out, and that's it. And underneath your seat, you just have your fuel tank. This is why the Yamahas are so good with center of gravity being so low, because the fuel tank is actually, below the seat, and it comes all the way underneath there. That's how they do it. People always ask, how come the fuel tank don't stick up high? Well, that's why. It's kind of sit it down low. So you're just sitting on top of the fuel tank. And then you just have your battery. So underneath, you have nothing really under here you need to get to except for your battery. So you almost never need to take your seat off. So there you'll see them side by side. And you can see the profile difference. How round that is. The Yamaha seat. The only shame of it is, it doesn't say Yamaha anymore, but whatever. Comfort's more important to me at this point. So let me get this one slipped on and see. Real quick, before I bolted the seat in, I wanted to show you is underneath too, so you guys can, compare. So if you order the whole seat, you're going to get a whole new seat pan and everything. And this is the Guts Racing one, side by side, and you'll see it's identical. Just says Guts Racing right there. And that's it. It's the only difference. They even have the little spot to stick this for the fuel cover, so you can clip that on too. So that's nice. And you'll see the underside, really nice quality. I mean, the material for the seat cover is really thick, really good quality stuff. So I think if you got one, you'd be happy with it, with the quality of it. I know Seat Concepts makes some good seats too. I almost bought one of those, but I like the way the guts looks better, and cost effective for $265 for this seat. So let me get it slapped on. All right, so there you have it. She's installed. Got a tiny little ripple here in the material, but actually moves with your hand. It's a little chilly, honestly, today, and I'm in the garage. I make a little bit of use and out in the sun. Probably stretch out and conform. It's actually gone already, so. But that is the finished product. Fits perfectly, no issues. Getting the bolts in, she lines up nice. And really soft and comfortable. Show you guys quick. I mean, right here where the thickest part is where you're gonna sit. I mean, really soft. You're gonna really sink in nicely there. And as you get to the back where it's a little bit thinner, still very soft. You're not gonna really be sitting on the seat that far back, but if you are, still nice and cushy. And up here, up front. This is nice, the soft foam with the wider width, definitely the way to go. And with the factory seat off, I'll show you down on this angle here. You can see how narrow it is right there, where you mostly are sitting. That's what, and the foam is very hard, so this thing just kills me. The color's a slight bit off. It's a little bit darker than the plastics, whereas the Yamaha seat, it's still not a perfect match. The Yamaha seat is actually a little bit lighter than the plastics. So you're still gonna have a little bit of a contrast. It's impossible to match colors of materials, but I'm happy with this here. It's slightly darker. From the top, it actually looks pretty spot on, but from the side, a little bit. So really comfortable. Sat on it again. Huge difference. We're going to take it out on a ride too, and we'll talk about a couple of the mods that we did to it. The seat comfort, one of them, and the throttle tamer that you guys seen on the previous video. We did the G2 throttle tamer. So that'll wrap up this one. And before I go, let me show you guys what I used to put the cover on in terms of staples. So you want to use no bigger than 1/4 inch staples is what they recommend. You could probably go a tad bit longer of a staple if you're using, like I did, putting it over the stock cover. If you're taking it off, then it's going to be obviously a lot thinner there. You're going to go through the seat pan and potentially through the top if you use anything bigger. So I would just stick with the 1/4 inch staples. That's what I use. They worked out fine. And then you don't need an air compressor. I have the hand ones, and they worked fine. This is an old school one. You guys probably have seen them around, made by Arrow fasteners. And then I have a newer Craftsman one. Both worked just as well. I tried them both just to kind of see if one worked better than the other. And both worked equally as well. These are the staples I used. 1/4 inch, 6mm staples. Worked mint, no issues. Little Mother's VLR for some protection. And she's ready to get dirty again. The rest of the bike is dirty because we had a big ride last weekend. And it's only dust. There's no mud. I don't drive through water or mud or anything like that. So I usually give it a wash every few rides, just because sometimes I'll ride it twice in the week. And I think it's more water is worse for it. Introducing more water to it regularly is worse for it than just leaving it dusty for a few rides and then giving it a bath. So when it gets really bad, I give it a bath. If I ever go through anything that's wet and muddy, wash it off right away. But it's here in Arizona, it's very dry and dusty, so it's a never-ending battle with the dust. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Big problem with the bike solved, which was the seat comfort. That was my only gripe, man. The last 2 weekends I've gone on, several hour rides. Last weekend I did a slower technical ride mixed with a little bit of fast-paced stuff, and man, my butt was killing me. And then the weekend before that, I did a 42-mile, long 42-mile ride for about 2 hours, mostly like wide fire roads and a couple small, slower trails. But again, my rear end was killing me after the next day, or even that day by the time I got home. So this is going to be a huge plus. So The bike's almost perfect. I did get word from Yamaha. They are releasing, they actually messaged me back, they are releasing the competition ECU for the 2025 soon. So we'll have that as soon as it comes out. We'll get it on order, and we'll get this thing tuned and a slip-on put on, and she'll be pretty much perfect and ready to rock. I mean, she's rocking and rolling right now. It's an awesome bike. So stay tuned for more. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Get out on the trail, ride safe. This is Joe at Odyssey Off-Road. Subscribe if you haven't. See you later.